The moment the steel doors slammed behind the twin brothers, every inmate in the corridor turned their head. Two quiet young men, identical in every way except the scars life had carved into their eyes, walked into the most feared block of Greystone Penitentiary, and before they could take a single step, 4 notorious prison bullies cornered them, sneering, spitting threats, promising pain. But what no one knew, what not even the guards could imagine, was that the calm, silent twins had been training since childhood under a retired world-class karate master. Black belts, national champions, fighters who had sworn never to use their skills unless they were forced. And today they were about to be forced. The day the black twin inmates, Malik and Myles Carter, arrived at Greystone Penitentiary, a storm of whispers rose behind them. They were 24, athletic but not intimidating at first glance, and their peaceful expressions made them stand out in a place built on fear. Unlike most new inmates who shuffled through intake with trembling hands, the twins carried themselves with a strange stillness. A discipline bred from years of martial arts training they had never spoken about. Their crime had been a tragic misunderstanding. Defending a neighbor during a street brawl gone wrong, only for the system to twist the story against them. Instead of college degrees and promising futures, they now stood before an army of criminals who saw innocence as weakness. They were escorted into cell block D, the most violent wing in the prison. The air smelled of sweat, metal, and danger. Malik felt Myles tense beside him, not out of fear but instinct. Karat honed awareness like a blade. Still, they kept their posture calm, refusing to show anything that could attract the wolves watching from behind bars. But the wolves found them anyway. The moment the guard walked away, 4 shirtless inmates stepped out from the shadows. Their muscular bodies were covered in tattoos that marked gang affiliation, violence, and reputation. They were led by Brody, the Hammer, a man whose name carried weight even in solitary confinement logs. He smirked like he had already won. Well, look what we got here, Brody growled, circling them like prey. 2 fresh faces, fresh meat. Malik kept his eyes down. Myles remained still. They exchanged a single glance. Silent communication they had used since childhood. Another bully stepped closer, jabbing a finger into Malik's chest. You two don't talk. You too scared. You in our section now. The corridor grew quiet. Doors creaked open as other inmates leaned out to watch. They loved blood. They loved drama. And nothing was more entertaining than new inmates being broken in. Brody leaned in until his breath hit Myles' ear. We run this place, he hissed. And if you get in our way, we'll kill you both. Myles didn't flinch. He didn't blink. Instead, he breathed slowly, the way Sensei Hikaru taught them. Stay grounded. Do not strike unless necessary. His heart remained steady, until Brody shoved Malik so hard he hit the bars behind him. That single moment dug into the twins' core, awakening something old. Something they had spent years controlling. But still they stayed still. They didn't fight. Not yet. They knew one mistake would ruin their chance of early release. Instead, they let the bullies laugh and walk away, convinced they had terrified the new inmates. But they had no idea. They had just threatened 2 fighters capable of bringing an army to its knees. The days that followed were worse than the twins expected. The bullies didn't just threaten, they acted. Food trays thrown off the table, cold water poured on their beds, taunts echoing in the showers. They pushed, they poked. They tried to break them. But the twins refused to crack. Not because they were weak, because they were strong enough not to respond. Violence was a last resort, taught deeply through every kata, every sparring match, every scar their sensei helped them overcome. But Brody took their silence as fear, and fear as permission. One night during dinner, Brody slammed his fist into Malik's back, knocking him into the metal table. Myles immediately caught him before he fell. Laughter erupted across the cafeteria. The guards hardly glanced up. They were used to chaos. Stand up, Brody snarled. I'm not done. Myles stepped forward, not aggressively, but firmly. We don't want trouble. Brody's lip curled. You already got it. He swung. A heavy, wild punch meant to break a jaw. But Myles didn't move because he was scared. He moved because Karat flowed through him like water. In one swift motion, he stepped aside, letting the punch slice through empty air. Brody stumbled forward, shocked at missing. The cafeteria went silent. Inmates stared. Bullies froze. Something had shifted. Brody roared and charged again, but this time Malik stepped between them. His stance changed, barely, subtly, but enough for anyone trained to see the transformation. His feet grounded. His shoulders relaxed. His eyes sharpened into unshakable focus. One punch. 3 moves. A lifetime of discipline. Malik didn't strike, nor did Myles. Instead, they effortlessly redirected the attacks, using Brody's own momentum against him. He landed on the floor, breathless, unable to understand how the quiet new kids had dropped him without landing a single blow. The entire cafeteria erupted in gasps. What are you?" one of Brody's men stammered. Myles finally spoke, calm but powerful. "We're black belts," Malik added, "and we only fight to protect." The bullies slowly backed away, their confidence crumbling, their threats silenced. From that day, no one touched the twins. Inmates nodded in respect. Guards watched them with new eyes. Even Brody avoided any confrontation, humbled by the realization that strength wasn't in size, tattoos, or reputation. It was in discipline, control, and the courage to stand firm without violence. Weeks later, the twins earned early release for good behavior and for preventing multiple conflicts without ever starting one. As they walked out of the prison gates, sunlight warming their skin, Myles whispered, "Sensei was right. The strongest fighter isn't the one who can beat everyone. It's the one who doesn't need to." And Malik smiled, breathing the air of freedom. Let's go home. The story of the black twin inmates spread through Greystone like legend. A reminder that real power lies not in fists, but in discipline, humility, and the unbreakable bond between two brothers who fought the world side by side.